How do they feel about the gender of crime or feeling safe, but also perception from people who don't live in the city of Memphis? How do
Right.
people around us perceive how safe the city is? Would they come and visit? And some people believe that's what needs to change versus just seeing numbers and stats.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt nationally Memphis does have a perception problem. Just this past week again, you've had NBA players come out and say, Memphis is a city, they don't have the hotels, they don't have the infrastructure in place to thrive that goes beyond just those crime statistics. And you're taking a live look now back at Air Force One here, President Trump, that door open. Don't know if he's already exited or if he's about to momentarily, but this is a live look in. That plane has certainly landed. And we are going to keep following this for you. But you're right, Yvonne, this is about, not just the perceptions, but actually getting real results for families here, especially those that have, been hurt by the specter of crime here, some of whom, lose family members. This is such a personal issue for so many people. It's not surprising to see strong reactions here on both sides of the coin.
All right, we have been told that the president is still on Air Force One at this moment. So we will wait to see him deboard and make his way onto the armory, where we know he will address a crowd of several people. There are dozens of people there waiting on him and anticipating his speech. We are expecting that the president will tout the efforts of the Memphis Safe Task Force. I do believe it will be some type of riveting speech. I think we know how the president speaks and his audience. And I think we should expect nothing less than that from the president. We heard him speak earlier this morning, just getting on Air Force One, just about crime in general, about his plans. So who knows? We may hear some major announcements from this. At this time, we know that a safe task force, the National Guard itself, was deployed to D.C. many, many moons ago, and now Memphis was one of the second cities that it happened in. We don't know if the president plans to expand and try to have the National Guard move someplace else at this point. That could be something that comes out of today as well.
Absolutely. I think there's no question he's going to be, at least attempt to be in a celebratory mood, touting the effects of the task force. I mean, there have certainly been a large number of arrests and crime has trended down. Critics would argue that the crime was trending down already prior to the arrival of the task force, but nevertheless, you can certainly bet he's going to highlight the effects that it's had since the task force was brought in. I think the big question right now is how long are those federal employees, federal troops, I guess you could say, going to remain here in the Bluff City? It's come up on 6 months now at this point. Doesn't seem like there's necessarily plans to disband anytime soon. I remember back when this was first announced, Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, we came on here and said they were potentially planned to be here as long as it takes, as I recall, was the phrasing used. Don't know by what criteria they're saying that, mission accomplished or not. Obviously, if they're coming here now, it certainly would imply that they feel like, at least to me, that they're going to be sticking around quite a while, not necessarily, declaring victory and packing up shop.
Agreed. I believe the governor said at that point that you're referencing is that in some shape or form, the Memphis Safe Task Force will exist in the city of Memphis. If he has anything to do with it, he plans to keep them here in some spectrum or some form. He said forever. And that struck people in a different way. Some people were very excited to hear that at the time, and others were like, wait a minute, forever? What do you mean by that? And so to Kevin, to your point, we don't know how long they're actually going to be here. We don't know how big or small that size and scope of the task force will be here. And we also don't know how much this is costing us.
No.
We have yet to get real numbers, especially when it comes to the deployment of National Guard troops. How much money per day is it costing the state, the federal government, to have these troops here this long?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's one of the questions we've been asking for some time. I've never been able to get specific answers on, unfortunately. But as you said, I mean, you can still go out there, go out to Beale Street, go out to FedEx Forum where the Grizzlies are playing. You'll see those National Guard troops still there in full uniform, out and about, trying to do what they can to, help tamp down crime here in the Bluff City. But it's been over 6 months now, just about. And there definitely is not a sign that things are going to go away or dissipate anytime soon, particularly, again, when they're coming here to sort of tout their effects of what they've been able to accomplish here in the Bluff City. I think to your point earlier, that's also definitely on the table that they might expand this to other cities to feel like, hey, this has been a success, this is working, we know. back when this was first announced, they were trying to go to Chicago, as I recall. This was part of they were going into Minneapolis as well, back when everything popped off up there. So this is a situation that this Trump administration feels is going in their favor, feels like it has worked mostly to the effect that they have wanted to, and sort of done over some of the objections of the people that are here in the Bluff City, while others have been championing it. So certainly this is something that in my opinion, I don't want to speculate too much, but kind of feels like this is going to stick around for some time.
It definitely could. It's not giving any signs of pulling back at this moment. If anything, staying the same. I don't even see it at this point maybe growing in expansion, but maybe it could. We just haven't been giving those kinds of vibes just as people who live and work here in the city. We haven't seen that or kind of felt that things would be taken back, removed a little bit, or that more troops would be added to. But also remember, there is still a lawsuit in play right now about the Memphis Safe Task Force, specifically the National Guard, and whether or not their deployment to the city is legal or not. And so a lot could change. And there is the president walking out of Air Force One right now.
There you go. There it is. President Donald Trump here in Memphis. You're seeing him descend the stairs down at Memphis International here in the Bluff City. Again, he's going to be highlighting the effects of the Memphis Safe Task Force and what they've been able to do, both in terms of arrests and overall ability to tamp down on crime here in Memphis, which I think is something all of us can support. You know, everyone here as a Memphian wants crime to be lower and is willing to take, any kind of strategies that may be able to do that. The question of, as you said, constitutionality, that's still being debated, as weaving its way through the court system, those legal challenges. Of course, nothing you can do to turn back time and get anything folks out of here, but that could be a situation where the lawsuits go through and they say, well, now we have to wind this down as a result of that. But certainly the effects are still going to be in place here. And you see the president driving away, a little wave. He's here. He's headed to that Office of Preparedness there, kind of in northeast Shelby County. Lots of folks there cheering him on. There's, we got media folks there as well. So this is just getting started here in the Bluff City. President Trump arriving. He's going to be speaking to that large crowd we saw earlier. Significant presence there, and we don't quite know what he's going to be talking about. Don't know if he will be making some announcements. Obviously, there's a lot on the president's desk right now, both nationally and internationally. So there's really anything's on the table, but I agree to your point. He's likely to be touting what his government hasn't been able to do here in Memphis.
Yeah, and this is the crowd that he will be addressing at the Armory this morning, just coming up in a few minutes. It won't take him very long to get from the airport to here. They will make special provisions, clear the interstates, all of that kind of stuff, so that make sure that he is safe and gets to this secure location. One thing that we mentioned too during our panel discussions on 24 Plus News Live was that this was a very strategic location. It's in the city, but not in the city,
right?
Where there is some extra layer of security at the Armory, which for President Donald Trump, for any president, I believe any sitting president would need that extra level of security. But also there's been several attempts on his life. So the stakes are high when it comes to safety and security in some ways that maybe you would not expect. Benny Cobb was able to really go into more detail about what to look for and what those extra boots on the ground will do today to make sure that not only the president is safe, but that everyone that's viewing, people who are protesting nearby, that everyone stays calm and stays safe, because there's a lot of emotion behind this visit.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you're talking about something as near and dear to people as issues of crime and safety, and, Memphis has had its struggles with those things, it's a big deal when the president comes. I mean, as we said, first time in 8 years, there's, a lot of folks here in Shelby County that would love to see the president, want him to come here, have been happy to see the effect that the task force has been having here in Memphis. And they're certainly getting their day. This is, you got to imagine, going to be somewhat of a celebratory speech we hear. The president does certainly liable to sort of go off course and say what he has to say. He loves to get in front of a microphone, loves to get in front of the camera. So you never know quite what he's going to talk about, but we certainly get the impression this is going to be here to highlight all the things that the task force has been doing and been able to tamp down crime here in Memphis. So certainly we hope that's what it is, and things are staying positive. Again, you're taking a look at that scene right now.
And another thing that you can expect today, of course, is this address, this speech that the president will give. But also, we do expect to see a roundtable discussion that he will have with members possibly of the Memphis Safe Task Force, other people who have been possibly affected by crime in the city of Memphis as well. So he does have a pretty busy schedule for what he will do in front of others and also in front of different cameras, just talking about the Memphis Safe Task Force. And we plan to be there and be with you through all of it.
Yes, we are here for you right now again on ABC 24, taking a live look at this scene where President Trump is going to be speaking momentarily. He's on his way there right now. We saw him leave the airports. There's a significant crowd here waiting for him. A number of those National Guard that are here in Memphis, in the Bluff City, coming from all over to try and get crime down here. And they certainly made a significant number of arrests. They've been touting, thousands of gun arrests that they've made. I believe there's over 150 missing kids that they've located. That's certainly a positive thing. Don't know about any charges that may have come from that if people are, being reunited with kids. But there's a number of major things that are happening here in Memphis that the task force certainly has had a role in helping tamp down, and that is exactly why the president put together this task force. And there's a lot of folks here in Memphis that are happy to see it, but we've also seen plenty on the other side of the coin. A lot of folks who don't want the focus of the president to be here in Memphis. So, Congressman Steve Cohen making some comments. We've seen protests here as well that are ongoing. That's where our Shakina Davis is at. So we've got a number of different sides of this issue, as one would expect. But this is something that we've got here again. President Trump here in Memphis. He's landed. His motorcade is on the way. We saw it depart the airport earlier. So we are going to keep following this for you. But we do know that our Ezekiel Telemaco is outside live at the airport right now with what he's seeing. Ezekiel, what can you tell us?
That's right, Kevin. People were really excited here to see President Trump arrive in Air Force One. But I can tell you that the streets are closed. They're not letting anybody through this specific area of Sweeney and Shelby Drive. So if you're planning on coming in this direction, I'd recommend that you turn around or figure out a different alternative in regard to some travel plans. If you have to go anywhere near the airport, everything is shut down in this area. So please just make some plans in regard to that. But when it comes to what I've seen here at the airport so far, there's been a lot of development in terms of just people coming in to see. I mean, this is a car wash right here. We have people selling hats. We got people with American flags, and we have people just celebrating the arrival of the president. Very unlike Shakina and where she is right now in terms of people that are protesting against President Trump and his arrival. But I'm just very curious as to what he has to say. But we're going to continue to monitor all of those developments with our reporter Desmond Nugent actually inside of that briefing, and we're going to continue to provide updates on this. Again, he's expected to speak at noon, and he's expected to leave Memphis around 2 in the afternoon. But we're going to be here to cover that all. Reporting in Memphis, I'm Ezekiel Telemaco, ABC 24.
All right, Ezekiel, thank you so much. We appreciate that. And again, he's not alone. There are several people that are out there with him as well, just watching the president land and drive off to the armory for this big day. Yeah, seminal moment again. The president here in Memphis, first time since 2018, or the Memphis area. I believe it was South Haven that time around.